Okay, my sound was just not on just then in my previous video, but I unfolded the whole thing. I folded it in a certain way, as you saw me do, and I've sewn all around it now. So there is a very wide and long zigzag stitch all around it, right? Okay, so what I wanted to do is this, and then that, right? But then I thought, what if I break this up, cut this, and then have like a fold out thing that probably folds down as well. So let's see, I think I'm just gonna cut that with scissors, because why not? And I'm cutting it in an angle so it doesn't interfere with the fold. There's that. Those 3 flaps. Okay. So now what I want to do is sew around those folds as well. Kind of want to reinforce those bits. So if I want to reinforce those, I need to have some. This probably doesn't need to. Or does it? Probably might, because you know, it just looks nice. So I will put some calico, no, not calico, cotton there. Just gonna grab some. Kind of just tear it where I need to. I can just stick it on here with Elmer's glue, because again, it just needs to hold. Oops, it's nearly empty. It just needs to hold until I sew it. So I'm gonna go around and do that on these bits, the spine and the fold there, and then that part here. All right, so we have a flipperoo going on. So what I did, I'll unfold it. The insides where it hinges, I put cotton on bottom just for aesthetics, and at the top, so that's the top, and at the back where it hinges as well, and yeah, this will be sewn in, and these will be the flipperoos, and I want to sew along there as well. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to sew on either side of these parts and do that here as well. I might actually fold this up. Just thinking now, shall I just wait doing that and just sew along the edges? Then it doesn't make sense. So I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm gonna see what I'm going to do on the insides here, because I might just do something at the back there, just with some ruled papers. But yes, I'm going to sew this first. Okay, I've sewn the flipperoos there, so that's all done. Yeah, so this part, or these parts actually, I think this would be cool. At least some of it. Don't have to go so low, because you know. actually I can just stick this on like that. Need to find another one. So you know, there's like kind of a base. And I want to be able to see the sewn pieces because that just adds to the visual. And I also need to remember that this is just a base, like I can do with it whatever I want during the build of this journal. There we go. That's better. There, and now this strip, or even the other one, can probably go there. Yeah, can. Great. Glues nowadays are pretty good. And if it really comes loose again, I can always glue it back on, right? There we go. Do that for the other two as well. So this is what we're at. I glued all the parts on, all the strips of cotton on where I wanted it, and I creased it with my roller going over all the folds. But I want to do a little bit more with it. So before I sew everything down, kind of want to add another flap or so. So I've got another 2 paper bags. Just gonna disassemble them and see what we have. So if I position it here, then I've got, or if I do that way, so I have that flap here, so I can glue that down. So I have this flap fold open. So there's like a flap there. Or I can just put it there. So this closes on top of this. And then there's like a closed thing here. Need to have a look, because if I do this, it might be a bit better, because then I have that flap, so I can stick this down, and then going out of frame, I don't know. And then on top of here, I can make a closure, like a loop closure, so this stays closed. So if I want to open this journal, this still stays closed if I want to. I might just do that. So I write down. So this will be my glue flap. Glue. That will stick down there. And then this might be a little tuck spot, so we'll have that. And then I think I'll just sew around the whole thing. Yeah. Because that would be too big a pocket to make, and I kind of like the sturdiness of it, so glue flap there, and then sew around the entire thing. I just want to reinforce that with the same cotton. Just gonna slightly glue this inside down. Just stick it down. Okay, now that I've got that flapperoo thing, I need to think about what else I want to do. So this flap opens like so, and then I have a flap there, but I probably want a pocket there as well. So for now, let's just stick that back. Should probably stick that at the bottom so I can open the booklet. Then there's so many pockets going on. I think I want to make something here as well, or maybe even both ways. So that's where this thing comes in. This would be way too large though, although if I cut that in half, it would probably be, maybe I want them to be opening this way. Because this is where the signature goes as well, so I have to think about that. I might actually do a flap here. So if I, let me see, if I take these hinges, these bag handles off. I don't want the bunnies there, but then I also really like the inside of this thing, so. This is where it's glued down, but I will damage the bag when I open that, I think. It's not too bad. This is the inside of the bag. It's really cool. So, I'll just do that. All right. Is that too big still? Yeah, that's still too big. That will do. So if I cut this on there, so that's just a cover off, and then the two sides of the bag are still on, which is just folded inside. Like that. So I will fold that in. So I have this side. No idea how much will actually show eventually, but you know. There we go, okay. So that is this flap, and then that will flip open like that. So I will glue that all down. So here's that flap thing. So I obviously want to hinge that with some cotton as well. And then this will sit over the top. This can close, so that's all cool. And so this, I thought of making some pockets there. So I can put these over the top, or I can make these pockets for behind here. They would be too big, but that would be too much. Could put them behind here too. I think I want to put it the other way, because otherwise there will be way too much of that pattern. Yeah. It would actually be the same on both sides. There we go, another bag used. You want to put that on front or on the inside? Might want to put it on the inside. Yeah, so I have some Fabri-Tac glue here that I want to use for this, because that sticks a little bit better and smaller line. So I will glue this, and then I will sew this before I glue it on. And now I'm making a mistake because I don't want to glue it down yet, because I want to sew around there too. Oh, that's okay. If you're fast enough with this glue, you can rub it off. Let's sew around these two pieces first and then see what I can do. I think I do need to put some cotton on this thing though. So this is the inside where that little flap needs to go. I'm going to flip it over, and then let's get my phone out of the way because we don't need that right now. This flap, I'm going to align it here. So I want a little bit of space in between. So I've got a little bit of a hinge, and then I'm going to glue this down. Just using a piece of paper to apply the glue. Right there. There we go. Now I can turn it over and put another strip on top of that, and then I can sew that. Just gonna make sure that this dries first before I sew it. I want to sew this first and sew this thing first before I do anything else. Okay, I've sewn all around this thing, which now has a pocket there. And I've sewn around this one, which has 1, 2, 3 pockets now there. Small pockets, but they're still pockets. And now I can basically glue this in. However, let's see. I think I want this in the back here, so I can... no, I'm just gonna go with my original plan. I'm gonna glue that on this side. So here, but I'm just gonna glue that in, and then I can sew the rest. But now, just thinking, this thing needs to be glued here, But I think I will glue that when everything else is in place, so I don't have the bulk in my sewing machine. So I think it's time to sew around everything here. And I'll glue this in later too, so I don't have that bulk either. And I still have to sew around this thing as well. So it's gonna be interesting, but I think I'll be fine. So just gonna do this and I'll be back. Okay, I think I have the basics in place now. So what have we got? We have a cover with a stitched edge here. We have a pocket there and a flap. No idea what I'm gonna do with that yet, but we'll see. Then when you open it, it has two flaps here that open up, and a pocket and another flap and another pocket. But with that flap, I could potentially sew a signature in here because it's cloth bound, and I can sew a signature there if I want to. And there's definitely gonna be a signature in there. This is obviously bigger than my A4 sheets, so let's have a look. That's not an A4. This is an A5 journal or notebook. This would be an A4 sheet, so that would be just as big as that. But when I double that, it would be almost the size of an A5. Let's have a look. Yeah, almost, but they both fit. So they both fit in that, in the width. And then, yes, it will overlap that pocket, but that's okay. But there's lots of potential here. I can also put small 2 or 3 page little booklets in here if I want to, and it's really sturdy because it's double the thickness of the bag, and also it's a paper bag, and I find that paper bags are always stronger than just normal cardstock for some reason. Like they make them stronger or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is the base of my journal, and I think it's time to sew some signatures in. So I'm going to glue on those parts that I want to glue on. Just flattening this a little bit because, wow, it's a little bit stiff, the double cotton. So the 2 parts that I want to add on are these ones. That's that one. And then this one, which will be on the inside here. I'm just gonna attach them with Fabri-Tac glue. Okay, I think I have enough pages together to make this work. I started with this paper bag from the bookshop Planet, which I thought had a really cool thing, like that is kind of Tim Holtzy. The orange paper that's now brown, an envelope, piece of French book page, the handmade paper, baking paper, that's not really a page but lined. This is I think this is the marble paper. This is one of those ledger pages. A map, more lined paper, French paper, brown paper, baking paper, handmade paper, the paper with the holes on the side, the old printer paper, more of the orange paper, and I think this is the last sheet of brown paper in the middle. Yeah. So this is what I'm starting with. Plain pages, nothing special. I think I want to do something with this thing, so I want to do some sewing. So I have that pocket there, and I want to make another 2 pockets in the middle here. So I'm gonna sew around that one. All right, I've just decided to actually sew it in. So I've taken some strips off the sides here, so it's not sticking out as much. And now I'm just gonna sew that into place here, I suppose. Yep. Let's find the middle. Want to go with this red and white twine, and then I'll coat it with beeswax. You can get beeswax online and it's not expensive, and a little goes a long way. So what do we do? 1, 2, let's say 3. And just run it across that twine and it will coat. Basically, because of the friction, it will melt onto your twine. So I use crochet thread, which is basically the same thickness as this twine. And this makes your thread stronger, and the knots will hold a bit better. You can see it goes a bit stiff, but it's okay. It's all good. Let's thread the needle. I don't want to pre-poke the holes, so let's do that. Because I won't be able to get through that with the needle alone. I want to see where that sits as well on the journal. I'm gonna do a 5-point pamphlet stitch. We go in through the middle because that's where I want the thread to hang. If you want it on the outside, then you start on the outside. You go through, leaving a little bit of thread hanging on the inside. Then you go from the outside, you go back in. Back out through the top hole. At this point you might want to check if it's all flush. Back through that hole we've been through before. And now you're gonna skip that one and go to the next one after that. Come through that one and then through the outside one. And on the outside you go back in through the last hole. Come up here, back through that one on the from the inside to the outside. And back through the middle, but make sure you end up on the other side of this thread. So you can knot a knot. You can knot the thread. There you go. There you go. So there's a thread on both sides of that middle thread. Take off the needle. And you can tie a knot. And you're done. Take off the clips. And trim the thread. There we have the journal. It's all done and bound. I decided to close this bag on this side because the bag gets a little bit flimsy when it's sewn only in through one layer. So I just kept the layers together, and then on the back here I do have those pockets here. So yeah, I do like how this turned out. So this is the end of me making the journal. I might be adding more when when this journal develops, but you will see me do that in the Journal July series. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.